संबंध भारत के सनातन से दिखता है, मिलता है और सुनाई भी देता है। जब ये लोग बात करते हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी बातें हैं जो भारतीय सनातन से मिलती जुलती है, हम लोग इसको जानते हैं, समझते हैं, बोलते हैं, देखते हैं। लेकिन हमारी जानकारियां कम हो चुकी है उन चीजों को लेकर। जब हम इन लोगों को सुनते हैं तो हमको पता चलता है कि यूरोप में या अदर देन यूरोप में जहां पर भी क्रिश्चियनिटी फैली, उसने कॉन्सेप्ट खड़ा कर दिया है कि देयर इज सम पीपल्स हु आर क्रिश्चियन बट नॉट फॉलोइंग क्रिश्चियनिटी। जो चर्च नहीं जा रहे हैं, जो वो नहीं जा रहे, ये उनको क्रिश्चियन ही कहा जा रहा है यूरोप में, लेकिन वो क्रिश्चियन है नहीं, क्योंकि वो चर्च भी नहीं जाते। लेकिन चर्च का ऐसे है कि वो क्रिश्चियन ही है। इस तरीके के एड्रेस भी खड़े हैं हमारे सामने, और हम लोग जब इन लोगों को सुनते हैं, जो गेस्ट हमारे आ रहे हैं, वो लोग बड़े ही एक्सपर्टली बताते हैं कि कैसे वो लोग क्रिश्चियन नहीं है, लेकिन यूरोप ने एक एड्रेस खड़ा कर दिया है कि वो लोग क्रिश्चियन है। पीपल हु आर नॉट गोइंग चर्च, दिस टाइप ऑफ क्रिश्चियन, द कैटेगरी ऑफ क्रिश्चियन क्रिएटेड देयर। और इसको ये लोग बड़ी आसानी से अपने घटते प्रभाव के को स्थापित करने में प्रयोग में लाते हैं। लेकिन वहां के कल्चर, वहां की व्यवस्था को देखें, और बड़ी ताकत से क्रिश्चियनिटी ने जो है पैगन्स को डिस्ट्रॉय करने की कोशिश की यूरोप में। और आज वही पैगनिज्म जो है, वही पैगन जो है, वही पूरी ताकत से यूरोप में वापस दिखाई देने लगे हैं। उन्हीं लोगों की बातें हम सुन रहे हैं पिछले 15-16 बार से। और अब हम आज जो है ग्रीस थिंकर्स को सुनेंगे कि उनके वहाँ का कल्चर कैसा है। ऑल ओवर टू डॉक्टर माथुर साहब, जो इस बारे में आपको पूरी जानकारी देंगे। आगे उन्हीं के पास है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Vivek ji. And for our guests who have joined us from Athens and Greece and other part of the Europe, this was a brief on the subject for the people who only understand Hindi. So just a brief on that, the importance of our lecture and importance of our guest lectures. So today, firstly, I welcome everyone, and especially our guests who are from the Hellenic ethnic group. Our guest speaker from Greece is Sofia Villahouli, and she is a priestess of the Hellenic ethnic religion. Now, I would like to, most of you know that we all know about Alexander the Great. Everyone has heard about him. And also the Homer, the famous writer, and the story of Troy, the Plato, a great philosopher. But we haven't heard about the real ethnic group, the most ancient group of Macedonia. So today we are going to hear from our guest speaker. I'm also grateful to the organizers. I will have a small, just 4 or 5 slides to share. I hope you're allowing me to share. Okay, so this is my slide. Now, just few slides. Now, this is the insignia of our ethnic group who are going to give you a speech today. And my old remembrance, what I have gone through with them and how closely we are connected. Now that's me, you can see, with my wife and myself and Honorable Marina Pasarake. I'm grateful to her too. I requested her that we want to organize our lecture, and she was kind enough to help us out. That is when we were there with them. And that's Honorable गुप्ता जी, आप बीच में कैसे आ रहे हैं? मेरा शो चल रहा है, इसमें कैसे आ गए? मेरी स्लाइड चल रही है, कैसे आप आ रहे हैं बीच में?
माथुर सर, आपका स्क्रीन नहीं आ रहा है।
हाँ, नहीं, अब आ रहा है?
नहीं
आया सर।
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I have to share the screen. Sorry, I have to share the screen. Sorry, my fault. Can you see my screen now?
नहीं स्क्रीन तो दिख रहा है यहाँ पे.
यस यस अब दिख रहा है.
Okay. This is all right. This is the insignia of the Hellenic ethnic group of Athens, and this is the symbol. And this is when I visited them a couple of years back. She is Marina Pasaraki. I think our guests will talk about them also. She was kind enough to coordinate for us this meeting, and we were guests to them when we visited them, and that's Honorable Vlasis, and unfortunately we lost him. He was the high priest. And you can see there that in Athens, my wife and Ravi Iyer, he was also with me when we visited them. And these are few slides. I'm not going to give details on them, but I'm sure our guest speaker will explain. They are famous ancient sites of Athens. You can see these slides. And again, the Honorable Vlasis is there with Ravi Ayerji. And see their ceremonies. I basically wanted to show you these pictures, how colorful ceremonies. And these ceremonies are so much similar to our Hindu ceremonies. I will just show you few slides. You can see that. And my wife is also there during the ceremony. And you see, they're also using wheat. We also use wheat. When we do the religious ceremony, we use wheat on many occasions. And you can see all this. This is milk, and this is a conch, and this is a bell. So this is what I was keen to show you. And now I would now request our guest speaker, Sofia Villahole, to kindly go ahead with your lecture. Please, you can share the screen.
Well, hello from me as well. We would like to thank the Cultural Civilization Studies for the invite, and especially you, Mr. Mahur. We're going to see right now the first part, that it is presentation of, excuse me, is it okay?
Yes, it's okay. We can see you.
Yes, am I staring the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. No problem.
Okay, great. It is about the presentation of YSEE, and we will continue later with the lecture. So what we watched was a presentation of our work and aspirations and our goals. And now we're going to move forward to the presentation of Hellenism. There we go. So, in today's globalized society, people strive to find their identity. Existential questions plague their minds as they're trying to figure out their life's deeper meaning, something that is greater than the everyday struggles that they're facing. What is it that modern men seem to ignore, making themselves unable to pave the way for gaining a meaning in life? They lack the particulars which can create people's own identity. It is a particular identity that answers all the questions, while its and everyone's unique existence is recorded in time and space. The search for identity can be done only through tradition. We don't refer to the manufactured tradition of the various monotheistic doctrines, but to the natural tradition that defines the special characteristics of an ethnos. This identity, possessing a dynamic as well as an ontological side, reveals to people their being, the same being that shapes everything around them. The Neoplatonic philosopher Boethius declares, "Not to distinguish itself from others comes natural for every living creature. Still, for a human, it only comes by uprooting oneself. Like an uprooted tree that withers if cut off from its roots, so a person is lost and alienated once cut off from his tradition. Tradition is the foundation of his life, which provides meaning to it. Tradition and ethnos have both the same starting point in time. Moreover, an ethnos cannot be identified by the religious doctrine that it was forced to follow, rather than the one that was born of it. Hellenism as a whole gives a particular identity to man, including a complete system of values, an ethical code of conduct, helping to comprehend and adopt a moral attitude towards life, a particular perception of the world surrounding us, philosophy, and a specific religion. The four factors we just mentioned create ethos, meaning a model of life followed every day and which is based upon certain things. When this life model needs to be designated, it sets these four factors as prerequisites, shaping the meaning of ethnos, the cultural product of which is ethnismos. The Hellenes are identified by their ethnic religion. It is only through this that one can come in contact with the gods, understand the divine, conceive the logical function of this world, and lower it to our mortal human level by establishing cities, composing laws, making philosophy, and setting up a value system. The Hellenic ethnic religion differentiates the man who follows the ancient ways from the modern-day Greek, that is a typical citizen of the Greek state who happens to speak Greek. This and only this choice can make him decide whether he will live as a free man standing on his feet or bow down like slaves do. Had it not been for their ethnic religion, the Hellenes wouldn't have set up their value system called arete, for arete is the quality of the gods, adapted to human level as moral qualities in order to make people become agathi, imitating the gods, within their human restricted limits, of course. The ethnic gods are the ones who create ethni, inspire and guide them. Ethni reflect their ethnic gods' characteristics, and in turn the gods give ethnos its special temperament, conveying it its properties and creating this special collective way of perception, manifestation, and behavior. Emperor Julian proclaims, "Our philosophers argue that the Creator is the Father and the King of all, and that he has assigned all the rest to the ethnic and patron gods, each of them taking good care of his share in his own way. Consequently, for the Father of all, everything is perfect, and all are united as one, though in each God a different capacity excels. Ares cares for the warlike ethnos. Athena cares for those warlike ethnos that dispose wisdom. Hermes those that are rather prudent and daring, and likewise each ethnos follows the temperament of the god that cares for it. So tell me, what's the reason that the Celts and the Germans have a tendency to risk, while the Romans and the Hellenes are basically concerned for politics and human issues, without ceasing to be capable of warfare? The Egyptians are more prudent, mainly practicing arts, while the Syrians are men of peace and enjoyment, but at the same time prudent, warm, vain, and resourceful. In ancient Greece, everything has a religious or semi-religious aspect. Theater, sport competitions, even the assemblies, the battles, the symposia, banquets. Nothing could even start before invoking the gods. Moreover, the colonists who left their homeland in order to found a new city were taking with them the perpetual sacred fire that burned on the common hearth Estia in the Prytaneum, at the heart of the city, the ideal center. The extinguishing of this sacred fire marked also the city's extinction. Religion and politics never contradicted each other. The Hellenic ethnic religion is not something separated, restricted in its own limits, which forcefully imposes itself on the various aspects of human life, such as family, profession, politics, etc. Instead, it pervades life, becoming an everyday practice at both levels of family, ethos, and citizenship. Death of an ethnos resembles the death of a man. Similar to how life deserts the man when his soul leaves his body, likewise an ethnos is considered dead when it denies its gods. Now we're moving forward to the theology. The most important principle for us Hellenes is that of the true being. The true being is unborn and eternal. It has no beginning and no end. A given and imperishable whole which contains within it an endless evolution of forms and states. The true being is unique, homogeneous, immovable, infinite, and perfect. These last two characteristics of it do not contradict the fact that it contains the quantitatively measurable. What it contains is quantitatively measurable and it evolves. The true being is axiomatically the image of infinity and perfection, because nothing exists outside of it. So there is nothing that, compared with it, would make it determined as finite and imperfect. Since nothing exists outside of the true being, it is axiomatically identified with a divinity. This is where we Hellenes differ from Abrahamic religions such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all of which consider their supposed God as pre-existing and outside of the true being. This way, they profanely degrade the true being into something created or constructed. All the parts of the true being, which are governed by order at its current form, constitute the cosmos. Those remaining parts those few remaining parts, apart from the cosmos, constitute the Tartarus, which means disorder. In Greek mythology, Tartarus is the brother of Cosmos, and their father is Chaos. So we can say that Tartarus is the substance that has its qualities still undefined. We Hellenes define the cosmos as a part of the infinite being that has attained harmony and beauty. Cosmos in ancient Greek means jewel or adornment. Like the true being, the cosmos is imperishable and uncreated. Its eternal order has been designed by itself and consists of a logically organized sum. Just like the true being, the cosmos is not a person, but the first division of the whole being. For us Hellenes, the cosmos in its totality is alive and material, a living substance, and is constituted of two levels of life that differ only in the qualitative characteristics of the common substance. The first level is the invisible world of imperishability, the world of the immortal things that have not been detached from the creative cause and are characterized by immortality, infinity, and knowledge. The other level is the visible and perishable world, with beings that have been separated from the creative cause and are characterized by mortality, form or appearance, and limited or complete lack of knowledge. The gods have emerged from the true being as a simple multiplication of itself into separate entities, and for this reason they retain all its qualities, which are immortality, infinity, and knowledge. The mission of the gods is the establishment and maintenance of the unity and the order of the cosmos. Thus, the true gods are perfect beings that impose order and possess immortality and knowledge. They infuse the world without any obstructions by acting on it. They are subject to the natural laws that they serve, and they partake in the eternal rebirth and continuous synthesis and decomposition of the forms. As to their nature, the true and natural gods are perfect, virtuous, immortal, unchangeable, infinite, just, all-wise, eternal, non-personal, without gender, unifying, ethereal, and primate all matter. It is self-evident that these true and natural gods do not retire or combine in one person. They cannot be substituted and do not cease to exist. They cannot be defeated according to the desires of profane mortals or even organized systems of irreverence. Every living being and everything that exists in the visible world of perishability has been physically born. Its body has a temporal beginning, thus a temporal end, making it subject to corruption and mortality. The characteristics of perishability and mortality are unrelated to the time it takes for them to be manifested. Humans, animals, plants, and rocks are without exception perishable in form and thus mortal. Death dissolves and funnels the matter of the forms towards the creation of new forms, and at the same time it gives to the immortals their material animate quantity. The human being is a biological species that is connected with the divine because nature has activated in its brain the logos, making it the only mortal being capable for logical thinking and true knowledge, the only being understanding science and accepting it because of reason, according to Speusippus. As logical beings, humans are differentiated from other primary biological species that socialize based on laws of nature and form complex social groupings from families to nations and adopt laws and institutions. Humans show a constant curiosity to examine and understand their own kind and their environment, but also construct and invent, ceaselessly developing new tools and capabilities. So humans create law, civilization, and technology. The greatest achievement of the Hellenic ethnic religion and its timeless gift to humanity is humanism. That is the respect afforded to the human substance. For us Hellenes, the human being consists of a value in itself, and all humans are related because of their logical nature. But only those human beings that have their logical nature ethically activated through arete, excellence, or goodness, truly connect with the divine. Every religion has its own unique ritual practice with which it expresses its adoration towards the divine. Natural or ethnic religions focus their ritual practice as a thanksgiving to the gods by offering various goods as a symbolic exchange for the gift of life. This offering is called a sacrifice. In its modern practice, the Hellenic ethnic religion offers flowers, grains, fruits, incense, and libations of wine, oil, milk, and other offerings, depending on the nature of every god. The ritual practice of the Hellenic ethnic religion is conducted by its priests and priestesses. For us Hellenes, a priest or priestess is every man or woman that conducts the sacred ritual in honor of our gods. Requirement for priesthood is piety, which requires a proper understanding about the nature of the gods and an ethical integrity. Our priests and priestesses do not pretend they are the representative on earth of a divinity, rather the opposite. They represent, and only for the duration of the ritual, the people attending, the whole of our community, and the nation of the Hellenes. The Hellenic ethnic religion performs its rituals on altars and hearths, depending on the nature of the deities and worship at the time. For the Olympian gods, altars are used, which are sanctified surfaces raised above the ground. For chthonic deities and ancestral spirits, we use hearths, which are sanctified surfaces on the ground or in pits. In our religion, the altar is the most sacred point, the abode of a deity. Where the altars are, that is where the gods are, our ancestors bequeathed us. Because of their nature, the altars are point of refuge, and whoever touches them is considered invulnerable, as if he was holding the hand of the gods. Today, in the countries that are dominated by Christians, especially in the ancestral lands of the Hellenes, it is impossible to have, as we should, publicly established altars, since it is almost certain that they will be defiled instantly and repeatedly. The only thing that can be equated in holiness with the altar for us Hellenes is a sacred statue. A statue is every sculpted or other, even natural, pleasing form, which is defined as the icon or symbol of the deity. Either natural, for example, an unworked stone, a meteorite or something, or worked by human hand, sculpted or casted, and of any kind of material, marble, wood, common or precious metal, clay, etc. For a statue to be raised, the devotional, it must first be sanctified in a special ritual. After the sanctification, the statue is now the abode of the deity as the altar, and thus it requires respectful handling. And now we are moving on to presenting some of our gods' attributes, and we're starting with Zeus. Zeus is the supreme ethical god who imposes order in the universe. He is the curator of harmony, balance, and justice in the cosmos. His symbol is thunder that comes as a glorious epiphany to the mortals, a form of communication between the world of divine and humanity. Hera is the queen of the gods. She is the ruler of the elements of earth and air, but not earth and air themselves. She is the mediator between humanity and the gods, and patroness of marriage. Her emblem is the peacock that symbolizes the starry sky, and the scepter with a cuckoo sitting on top, representing the married life. Poseidon is the ruler of the sea and the element of water in general. He is the god of fluidity, the continuous movement of the physical world, and the ever-changing human emotions. His emblem is a trident, which symbolizes the everlasting claim that he has over the sea. His sacred animals are the dolphin, the white horse, and the black tortoise. Athena is the goddess of deep wisdom of the cosmos. She is the logical thought as well as the manifestation of an idea in the arts. She was born in full armor from Zeus's head, which means that she is the embodiment of wisdom that was in the head of the greatest god and later manifested so that humans may perceive her. She is the patroness of both strategic war and craft works. Her emblems are the aegis, a symbol of protection, the spear and the shield, symbolizing courage. Her sacred number is 3, which is symbolizing perfection. Aphrodite is the mother of the force that gives birth to everything, from plants and animals to people and ideas. She is the universal friendliness and the curator of harmony of the cosmos, together with Apollo and Hermes. She is the patroness of spiritual and physical beauty. Her emblem is the sphere of everything that she holds in her hand. Sacred animals are the rabbit, the white goat, the turtle, and the bee. Apollo is the protector of the art of music, healing, and divination. The most significant oracle in Greece is in Delphi, which is dedicated to Apollo. He is a solar god and also represents the youth and joy in the cosmos. His emblem is the tripod that symbolizes time, past, present, and future, the bow and arrow, and also the lyre. Artemis is a lunar goddess, sister of solar god Apollo. She is the goddess of wilderness, hunting, and roaming forests along with the sacred animals, and also protector of young girls. Her emblem is a torch and the bow and arrow. Her sacred animals are the bear, especially the female one because of her protective nature, the cat, and the deer. As both an Olympian and a chthonic god, Hermes guides the souls of the dead in the underworld and also is the messenger of the gods, distributing Zeus's will to humanity. He represents movement in the cosmos, contrary to Hestia, who is the immutable center. Hermes is the expression of logos and the communication between logical beings. His emblem is the caduceus, which is an ancient symbol of sacraments and healing. Ares is the god of conflict and valor. He is the force behind the blows of the warriors to their enemies, undefeated in the battlefield. He is impulsive in conflict, contrary to Athena, who is the strategic planet of battle and war by using wisdom and prudence. His sacred animals are dogs and roosters because of their fighting spirit. His emblems are handheld weapons and lit torches. Hephaestus is the wisdom that rules over the element of fire of the universe. He is the protector of metallurgy, sculpting, and other crafts. He is the spark of recreation. Whenever the cosmos comes to an end, everything returns to a purifying fire, and from this, a new cosmos emerges. His emblem is the hammer and the anvil, and his sacred tree is pine. Hestia is the power of creation, not of humans, but of humane societies. She is the protector of the home, ecos, and cities. In the ancient Greek polis, a fire was burning in front of her statues day and night. Apart from the main statue of Hestia in the community building of the city, there were fires in her honor inside every house that were attended by priests or family members so that they were never put out. Nowadays, we cannot have the same structure of the polis, so instead we light her fire from our heart in every ritual. Her emblem is the flaming wheel that symbolizes the conscience of the higher self, the plenitude and the unification of the multiple aspects of the cosmos. Later, the Gnostics symbolized it with the Ouroboros. Dionysus shares the same sphere of influence with Apollo. Their difference appears in the fact that whereas Apollo guides the course of the divine to the human domain through logos, harmony and beauty, Dionysus, on the other hand, guides the course of humans to the divine from the multiple aspects of the physical form to the one of the cosmos through ecstasy and theater. His emblems are an ivy wreath called thyrsus, and the mask, a tragic and sacred symbol of the evolution of the esoteric self in higher levels. Demeter is the soul and the force of the earth, the protector of fertility and motherhood. She taught people how to cultivate the earth, and she set the social laws for a prosperous society. She is the eternal base of the immortal world. She rules over a universe that is the surface of seemingly mortal things that are being born and reborn, but are actually the epiphany and manifestation of the immortal divine. Demeter taught people the mysteries that took place in Eleusis. With her knowledge, the mortals understood the infinite nature of the universe and that life is not linear but circular. Nothing starts and stops with birth and death, but there is a continuous circular flow of things. Thank you for your attention. May the gods always shine on you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have you finished? Okay, you can continue if you want to. You can continue.
Yes, we can continue with any questions if you have.
Okay. Anybody having questions, please go ahead.
I would have a question for you, Sophia. Nice to meet you again, if I can.
Hey, of course.
Okay, we know each other, so it's quite easy to communicate now. And you know that being a scholar, I have been involved a lot into Hindu-European traditions. And I've been studying along comparative religion between the two, comparative philosophy between the two part of the world. So both in the European side and the southeast continent. So when I've been during my travel to India, and as my knowing about the Sanatana Dharma, I would like to ask you how it comes to the dignity of priesthood. For example, into the Advaita Vedanta tradition in India, the parampara is a kind of transmission that goes back to the ancient times from the start of Shankaracharya, from the times of Shankaracharya, and so it has an uninterrupted transmission throughout the centuries. And so the priesthood dignity comes to that kind of initiation. Yeah, I would like to know if it's something similar, so if we can find something similar into the Hellenic ethnic tradition, and how it developed during time, or if it's quite different, the kind of priesthood transmission.
Well, the Hellenic ethnic religion, as you know, thrived during the ancient Greek times, and until about the Roman Empire. It thrived until the Hellenistic times. So after that, when Christianity was forced in our lands, the Hellenic ethnic religion went underground, and in order to preserve itself, because the priests and the believers and everyone who were following the ancient ways, they were hunted down by the authorities in the Byzantine era, the medieval ages here. So through underground ways, we have managed to save some of our rituals and our theology and our practice, and we have found some things that have evolved even in these dark times, and we follow them today. We have some masters like Georgios Gemistos Plithon, very prominent philosopher, who has left lots of works who help us connect with our further back ancestors. I hope that answers.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you've been very clear. We have something similar into Roman traditionalism in Italy, so I can understand you. I can understand also the difference between what happened in the Mediterranean scene and what has been going in India at the different schools in India. Thank you.
Anyone else, if there is?
Yeah, I have a question about the human rights. You know, you got recognition from your government for performing marriages and ceremonies and other rituals. So I must congratulate you. That was a great struggle. And I would like our other guests to know how difficult it was to struggle and get this status, because I know the similar problem many ethnic groups in Europe are facing even today. So can you please explain to them how could you achieve this?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, in most parts of Europe, I don't want to say all, Christianity has deep roots within the state. So that means that many political governments and stuff, they are controlled by Christian, and it's almost like a theocracy. So here it was fortunate for us that there was this change in the legislation that allowed more people from more religions to perform legally abiding weddings and funerals and anything. So we were fortunate enough that this happened in our time. So with the help of people who are lawyers and know how to work through those things, we were able to make a strong case and exhibit that we are here, we are strong, we are alive, we are a religion that's not dead, that's not forgotten, it is a religion of today, and we demanded our place equally with the rest of the religions. So thankfully, in a large part, that has been accepted by the Greek state, but still, as you said, there is a long way to go, and we will keep on fighting.
Thank you very much. One more question. I remember when I visited your group and the ethnic group, we were taken to a mountainous place and a hilly region, its ceremonies were all outside. Do you have your own temple now? Do you have your own temple now?
Mm-hmm. Of course, we have our own temple in the center of Athens. It is sanctified. It is recognized by the state, and of course, that doesn't make us lose our connection to nature and the gods around us, just because we have a place, a home, an ecos to perform our rituals. And we feel the same connection, and sometimes we even go outside when we want to have an open celebration or something.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have got a question? Please go ahead.
I want to ask.
Please go ahead.
Can a non-Greek who doesn't have Greek ancestry he can become a Hellenist? Is it possible from who doesn't have Greek ancestry to become a Hellenist according to ISTE? Thank you.
Well, of course, Hellenism is not about some strict borders that constitute one nation, the Greek country. It's not about a country, it's about a mindset, it is about a way of thinking and acting towards the divine, our divine forces, following the way of arete, and of course honoring the gods. It doesn't have to do with biology. So of course. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, any more questions, please? Okay, so then we wind up. So I thank our guest speaker, Sophia, for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
And I was very eagerly waiting for the approval from all the elders, the Hellenic elders, and very, very kind. They were very, very kind. I still remember, it's still lingering in my mind when I visited you all. And it was a wonderful time that I had, and so those wonderful ceremonies. And I find that of course, we have to do a lot of studies. So yes, there are people have asked you about some of the books which are available in English to understand, and we would like to buy them if it is available through Amazon or anybody else. So maybe since we are in contact, you can recommend those books to us, and we will be able to do further studies. And also I on behalf of all Indians here, I invite your group to visit us in India. You are welcome. Be our guest here. I'm very, very grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We would be honored to visit you. And of course, you can look up some books in English on Amazon. They are like Theology and Practice. So yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.